All right, Chris, I got another case for you here.
Okay.
So this is a tragedy where a couple are living together. They're not married. The boyfriend, but he has a will.
Okay.
And he wrote this will to give everything to the little boy and the mother. A court clerk verified it to be legal. He had an abusive relationship with his family, basically cut ties with them. They were not supposed to be involved in any way. They're not in the will. But they have already gone to the house he lived in and removed all the cars, bikes, a bunch of their assets, taken his laptop. They've been selling stuff on Facebook Marketplace under his name. So they have a probate hearing coming up, but they're saying they're under the impression it's illegal to touch anything or remove anything until someone has been assigned to inherit the estate. What are their options to get the vehicles back and collect on anything they've already sold off?
Yeah, so what that family's doing is not only immoral, but it's also illegal. It's theft. They could be thrown in jail for it. When a person passes away, their estate is the owner of all their property. And the only way your property is legally passed to another is through one of two ways. Either A, through your will, which is what we call testacy, or if you don't have a will, it passes legally under the probate code, which is intestacy. If you don't have a will, it's going to go to your next of kin. I could get in going forever about who and what shares, but your closest relatives are going to get your stuff, right, if you don't have a will. If you do have a will, it's whoever's in the will. You can disinherit your entire family with the exception of your wife. That's the only person you can't disinherit in South Carolina. So in this case, he's not married and he passes away and he left a will leaving all of his earthly possessions to this lady and her child. And then these other family members who are not entitled to anything other than they're allowed to challenge the will. Because they are family members, they could potentially challenge the will and say it's a fake, it's a forgery. It could go to court and say that. But absent that, they have no standing or right to anything. Because if the will's valid, all the property goes to this lady, and they have basically stolen estate property. Now, that's true regardless of whether they want to challenge the will or not. Just because you want to challenge the will doesn't give you the right to go take a bunch of stuff and sell it. Those are estate assets. And they must remain estate assets until a probate judge makes a final ruling on the owner of those assets and what's going to go on with the estate. So what I would do in that situation, if I were her, I would go down to the probate court immediately. I would show them the Facebook post of them selling estate assets. And I would try to get an emergency order delivered upon them by the sheriff, get the judge to sign it and saying, stop, hold all of what you're doing. And then also I'd file a police report for illegally taking estate property and see if they prosecute them.
Is it made a little more complicated by them not being married? Or, I mean, does the will...
The will controls. It would be a much different situation if there was no will. These other family members would probably be the ones that ultimately got the stuff because they're the next of kin. So having a will is everything. Spend a few bucks, get a proper will made, and then your stuff can go where it needs to go.
Take care of the people you care about.
That's right.